Welcome to No Silver Bullet, where we uncover remarkable stories of resilience and triumph in life and business. We unravel the captivating stories of remarkable leaders who have faced seemingly insurmountable obstacles, but yet refuse to succumb to adversity. And these individuals remind us that there are no shortcuts on the path to greatness. And today we have another special guest, Luis Melo, who is also a USC grad from my alma mater, and has focused on the land business. And so we welcome him today. Luis, thanks for joining us.
Yes, go Trojans, USC. I love Mary. I love the Lusk Center, Ross program. If
Sure.
anyone is interested in doing like the next development thing and they want to learn more on how it works, please join. I still go to events and everything else. But my name is Luis Melo. I saw Marcelo in the group and he was sharing about his expertise about commercial. And I was like, man, this is great. I saw a couple of videos and I was like, I would love to talk to him about what I do, which is
Wonderful.
he's probably very familiar with Marcelo. I am a wholesaler, so I wholesale vacant land. I do everything remotely from my house, and I wholesale properties all across the U.S. I have done deals in Hawaii, Colorado, Oklahoma, Arizona, Nevada, Florida, just to name a few states, Texas, and I have come a diversity because when I started, I did not have any money. They
Hmm.
actually Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad and Poor Dad,
Okay.
had a course about like how to do mobile homes, how to do for sale by owners, how to advertise, all that things, right? And they charged me his elite program $20,000, about $20,000 to learn
Okay.
everything obviously. So I was like, I was broke, and I was just I was just getting to get my license as an agent. And I went to the seminar. First of all, they get you it's free seminar, and then the next 3 days $1,000, and then the next step for like the master classes it's like $18, something like that.
Okay.
So I did what everyone does, what they teach you: go get a credit card, zero interest, and pay us, and you pay over time. I mean, I'm not complaining. I got exposed to a lot of things in real estate. It was a money well worth, and I was able to deduct everything on my
Sure.
tax returns. But today I flip vacant land. I have three VAs. Two are in Philippines, one in Miami, and they
Hmm.
make phone calls. They text people. They do ringless voicemail. They do emails. I do letters. So I'm reaching out to about 25,000 sellers a month.
Okay.
Out of that, I'm able to secure between 5 to 7 deals a month. So I buy 7 properties and right away I sell it. Uh, Something interesting about land is that I don't have to see it in person. So I can just use Google Maps, Earth View, Street View, GIS County website, Data Tree, which is a software that I love to use. And I'm able to I just received a call from a water company in Arizona. I'm purchasing a 1 acre property in there, Marcelo. And of course, I have everyone checking after I have it under contract. I do my due diligence, right?
Okay.
And usually, Marcelo, my escrow period is 60 days. You're
Hmm.
probably very familiar because commercial land, you gotta require more time because there's a lot of things to get done, right? But
Sure.
if you're in the residential area, we're getting it like 30 days, right? Usually. So I do minimum 60 days. And when I started, I was doing like 120 days. And I was still able to get a bunch of deals. So like half a year under escrow and people would accept. It was different times, 2019. Today, people are like, they understand more. The deals are everything about real estate.
Hmm.
Um, but out of those people that I reach out to, I get a lot of no's, Marcelo.
Hmm.
Like my day is filled with no's. No, thank you. No, too much. Insulting. Your offer is bad. But guess what? Yeah, it's just like emails all the time. And the guy was like, he had a property in Arizona. I offered him $15,000 for 2 lots, and he was like, "This is insulting. My property is worth 100K."
Mm.
I'm like thinking to myself, your property is not worth $100,000. The best I think your property's worth is about $40,000 because I'm checking the
Mm-hmm.
data, right? Especially right now that I'm like looking at 3 months, the sold price for 3 months. I'm not even going 6 months. I'm not going even a year. I just focus on the past 3 months. Um, so my whole deal, Marcelo, is that I am able to lock these pieces of land under a contract that I had revealed with my attorney, and that contract allows me to sell it to someone else. So I pretty much get it with this seller. I shop around. I put it assignment of contract or a double close. So in the beginning it was really hard because, like I said, it was $20,000 less in my credit card, and I had a son, and I was working as a server. I was trying to be a realtor, so I would come home late at 10 p.m. and download lists of properties in areas. I always created my lists. You know, these people that reach out to you, I have a list of properties that are going for foreclosure or something like
Sure.
that. Don't believe them. It's like all bullshit. They're selling it to you and 10,000 other people. So I create my own list. I use my own criteria depending on the area. Some areas is by square feet, some areas is by acres, and depending on the sales price, everything. So I downloaded the list. First mailer was like 1,200 people. So I did it myself, actually. I printed, I put it in an envelope, I
A lot
sent
of
it.
licking envelopes, huh?
Yes, no, I was smarter. I was like, I'm gonna get the this type
Little
of
roller
envelope,
thing.
this type of
Oh,
envelope
okay.
that's just
There you go.
easy.
Good for laser printers too. Yeah.
Yes, yes, laser printer. So out of 1,200 people, 100 people called me back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's awesome, right? Do you get that type of phone calls back when you're doing houses or commercial? Not usual, right? So I was just like, oh, this is amazing. Out of that, two sellers decided to sell the property to me, and they had like 17 properties in total for the two sellers, and I got all of them under contract. I remember, I believe I sold 8 of the 17 properties, and I couldn't sell it because I think I offered too much money or didn't have water, electricity, something like that.
Okay.
But I got introduced to real estate, and I did the land deal before I did anything else as an agent, right? I didn't
Mm-hmm.
represent anyone. I was like eating on McDonald's, like their $1 menu at a time in 2019. I could afford to send more letters. So I could afford to pay a nanny to stay at home with my son. Because my wife was
That's
working
great.
full time. I was trying to get my stuff done. We had to hire a nanny. And I had my responsibility to pay for half of everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that was the biggest adversity, you know? And the thing that I was not 100% focused on land. I was too out there. I was trying to be that realtor, that famous guy that you see on TV, HGTV. You know, I was trying to. It's glamorous, you know. If you look at Marcelo, if you see online and everything on the TV, like being an agent, it's awesome. But it didn't work. Of course, I sold some properties. I sell at probably 2 properties a year. I represent buyer or sellers, and it's all great, all everything. But right now, as of today, 98% of my time is spent in land. 2% prospecting for being an agent in my neighborhood
Mm-hmm.
only. That's all.
Okay. What made you choose land? Why did you decide to focus in that particular part of the industry?
I always loved to be at home, you know, not to drive that much. I'm not a big driver. My wife is the one that's driving us in her car. But what I did, it's because the income started to come. The checks would come very often, you know, when I decided to go full time. And I was just like, and there's way less attachments. When you're talking about a residential home, it's like their kids lived in there, you know, it's like something that they hold to their heart. For vacant
Much
land, most
much
of them they're
more
living in
much more emotional compared to land.
much more emotional. Of course, there are those sellers that they're attached to their land, but it's not all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't live in the same state. Usually, like if I'm purchasing a property in Nevada, they live somewhere else in Arizona. Who knows where they live? I don't
Mm-hmm.
care.
But what was the trigger that said that you decided, okay, my business model is not going to be flipping duplexes or flipping houses. I'm going to really just focus on land. Like, was it something that you learned in your training with Robert, or something you discovered on your own as you were trying to figure out what your niche was going to be?
I had help from my wife because she
Okay.
saw that the money was coming from land, and she was like, "You should focus on this, and this is what's gonna set you aside, and that's something that's very niche, and I think you should do
Hmm.
that." So I thank my wife because she was the one who told me, "Focus on land. Land's gonna pay the bills. Land's gonna give you much more of a return." And the sellers too, because I would send letters, Marcelo, and they would call me back. They would
Hmm.
call me back for trying to be a realtor and sending letters. I would receive none. I would not get any calls. I would door knock. I did everything imaginable
Hmm.
being an agent, but it was just not a good return.
Talk about the conversation that you've had with your wife. You know, a lot of entrepreneurs, the communication part with their spouses is very important to ensure their success. What was your wife's initial response? You know, how did that conversation go when you said, "Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to push on this," and an understanding that there was a risk associated with that, where you might be short a few months before you could actually see that money start to come in.
No, she was very supportive, and I did
Hmm.
not quit my job as a server. I was working for a good restaurant, making good tips, sometimes like 300, 400 a night. So I didn't quit till I was almost sure that land was 100%. So I kept doing both. And at the end of my career as a server, I was just focusing on land more than being a realtor. So, and then we just came together and like we decided, the first few months being a land investor, just a land investor, it was tough because I didn't have that 300, $400 a day. And it was really tough. But later on, I would say like after 4 or 5 months, everything changed. Like focus on the land. I got to save a ton of money. I got to buy my house in Huntington Beach, and it was just like
Hmm.
everything changed. Like a lot of money in the bank.
That's
It
great.
was the beginning was like the best because it was 2019. The value was very good. It was no COVID. Even COVID, when COVID started in 2020, for 2 months things were slow, but later on it was just like boom. Sellers were selling for cheap. I was selling it to someone else for good money because they were investors. They know what to do. And if I
Hmm.
held those properties, it would be worth even more.
Sure. How's the market today with the rising of interest rates? Is that affecting your business?
It's affecting a little bit, but sellers are more than likely willing to sell right now.
Hmm.
They need the cash. They do need the cash. I'm getting way better response than in the beginning of the year once
Hmm.
interest rates started to go up. Um, it was a little like for 4 months of this year, it was a little tough because they were not, I imagine for every one of us, right? Interest rate high, people were like uncertain. And now, and people are buying these properties local because I don't sell high ticket properties. I'm focusing on like less than 100K properties. I buy for 10, I sell it for 25. I buy for 30, I sell it for 70. I buy for 5, I sell it for 18. you know and what I'm able to do is seller finance a lot of my deals. Since I have cash, I have the money, I can buy it myself, and then when I sell it to someone else, they give me a down payment. Usually the down payment covers all my purchase, and then they pay me monthly. But yes, for sure, sellers are willing to accept offers right now. So this is the time. That's why I upgraded to do more text messages. That's why I started doing more advertising right now.
Okay. So what's next in your business model? Are you just trying to scale this to a certain amount of deals per month, or are you on your way to becoming a developer, or where are you headed?
I would love to become a developer, but it's you got to tell me, Marcelo, how you do it because it's really tough, guys.
Sure.
You need to have money backing you out, and that was the reason why I did the USC. But I think I'm missing on something, and also the time that it takes for you to develop a property. We're talking about 12, 18 months. I just can't hold something for that long. I haven't learned how to do that. But yes, I would love to get to know more about the entitlement process, to do like the groundbreaking, to raise capital, to do all of that. But as of now, because I see that land, the niche that I have, is so great, I'm not kind of taking too much of my time to learn something new. I did in the beginning of the year because I was super excited, and I still do it. I reach out to sellers, all kinds of properties, but I focus on the ones that I know that I can sell it really quick and I can make a good return. So I think this is the focus right now. It's like just blasting everyone because this is just the best market that I have seen.
That's great. Can you maybe discuss a deal that you run into trouble with and kind of how you were able to resolve it?
I mean, trouble, yeah, you get trouble like every day, right? Like like there's this property in California. I was buying it. I am buying it for 11,500 by Lake Arrowhead, and came down that they had some problems with title. So came down that my title company was able to fix everything. They're working on it. They're getting paperwork signed right now. It's just going to cost me a
Hmm.
little bit more money. And but this property was already sold, Marcelo, to a guy that drove by because I hired a photographer, and he put it
Okay.
for sale signs on the land. And the guys drove by, and he's like, "I want to buy it." I'm like, "Sure, it's up for sale for 30K," and we negotiated. He's buying for 26,500. He's paying all
Okay.
the closing costs. So things like that happen all the time. Uh,
Hmm.
Wife passed away, husband passed away, behind
Hmm.
property taxes. I'm just like listening to them to see how I can help. And there's one property right now that I have been working. This is the longest one that I've been working on. Um, 1 year to date. I am reinstating the LLC. There's like 15 years of behind taxes.
Oh, wow.
So I hired a CPA. The CPA is doing the taxes. After they're gonna print the documents, I'm gonna have to go with the owner to the LA office.
To
We're
the
gonna
county
show
office.
them. They're gonna tell us, hey, you gotta pay $17,000, 800 multiplied by 15, interest,
Yeah.
everything. Once we're done with this and the LLC is reinstated, I can then buy the property, right?
Okay.
And then when I buy it, I can sell it right away. It's in California,
Hmm.
5 vacant lots by Palm Springs. Purchase price $60,000, another 20 with all CPA fees, so 80K. Wholesale price when I'm done, when I put it for sale in the market, $150,000 worst case scenario.
Nice.
But this is like a work in progress. How many hours have I
Sure.
spent on this deal? Crazy amounts.
That's great.
Yeah, another one that I can think of, it's like one property I bought it in Nevada. I There was an IRS lien to the property. So trying to fix, they couldn't fix. Um, and I had already bought it. I gave the money because sometimes I trust my sellers and I give them the money and I do all the paperwork myself. And then this IRS link came. But they gave me my money back. I kept the property under my company's name, and I said, "Hey, listen, once you fix this IRS lien, let me know, and I'll give you the money." They trusted me too. So the property was under my name. I got the cash back, and $9,500. Um, and then I was like, "Dude, this is just taking so long. Let me reach out to another title company to see if they find the same mistake." I reached out to
Hmm.
another company, and they said, "Luis, there's no IRS link to this property." I was like, oh boy. So we just sent a couple documents to the seller. The seller signed. I sent him the check again, and it's for sale for $22,000.
Nice.
So
That's
that's
great.
another one that I came along.
Hmm. Tell us, if you can, about your journey from Brazil to the United States.
I mean, yeah, my journey was like when I got here, I was living in Mexico prior to live
Okay.
here. So I moved from Brazil to Mexico, 4 months in Mexico, and then I came here because of my wife. She was my girlfriend at the time.
Hmm.
Um, I did all types of work as an immigrant. I didn't have my papers in the beginning, so I did work as a valet for Subaru, the car dealer.
Okay.
I worked in the farmers market, like just grabbing the stuff from the truck and putting it for for sale in the farmers market, the vegetables. I also did the server, bussing tables, cleaning the tables. That did not last very long. It was like 1 month. I was done with it. I was just like,
Sure.
because I had two jobs at a time, one being a server and the other one cleaning tables. And I was just like, this is too tough. I can't handle two jobs. And my wife was like this, don't work hard, work smart. You know, you shouldn't get two jobs. You should find something else to do. And the beginning was really tough. Didn't have enough money. She supported me a lot. And she bought food, everything else. And was just like when I started doing real estate that I started to helping more at the house, right? Um, so it was something unique, you know. But I'm very grateful that someone told me about real estate because I never heard about it before, and I just dissected myself. That person was just like, he's one kind of person that just doesn't do the action, and I'm like, I just go for it. I don't really think about the bad things behind, so I just jumped on it, and I was glad. I was happy to find something that I call like that has given me so much.
That's great.
And my English was not that great when I started. I had to do, my wife again told me, hey, you should do ESL, English as a second
Okay.
language. Go to this community college
Well, your
and
wife sounds
apply.
amazing, man. She's giving you all this great advice.
I know, right? She wanted me to be successful so I could take care of the
Hmm.
family. And right now we have an amazing house. My son goes to a nice school. He does like go-karting. So we are able
Hmm.
to
I've
provide
seen some of
him
your
with.
social media posts. You're really involved in that. That's great.
We're super involved, man. We have a team. We have like it's just I'm cleaning the tires, scraping the
Hmm.
tires, 100 degrees when we go. So we're just providing him with the best that we can.
Hmm. Oftentimes, entrepreneurs have trouble balancing kind of their business self with their personal self, but it seems like you've been able to find that balance. How do you do that?
You know, I was never that kind of person that was obsessive about work. I was never that kind of person. I always have a good balance, you know. The balance before was like going to parties. I would work all during week and go to parties back in Brazil. But you know, I never thought that work was the main thing. When I came to the
Hmm.
US, it was something totally different because I was like, dude, you guys work so much. And like in Brazil, we don't work that much. Saturday and Sunday, oh, we're home, we're doing barbecues, we're like getting together with the friends, and here you guys are working 24/7. So it was a little shock because I wasn't prepared to do that. I was like
Hmm.
still that little kid from Brazil. But again, my wife came along and she was explaining to me the early bird gets the worm. And I
Mm.
was just like, she's right. And, you know, if you want to make it happen. So we have a great balance. I work from home. I'm able to take care of my son before he goes to school. When he comes back to school, I say hi to him, I play with him. Then I come back to the office, I do more work, you know, and that's how we do it. A lot of
Hmm.
times when they go sleep, I come to my computer and do more work. So my schedule is very flexible, but I'm always doing stuff with them. Like yesterday, I was at their Halloween party at the school. The day
Okay.
before, we drove to Riverside to drive his go kart at 2 p.m. We came back at almost 9 p.m.
Hmm.
So I have the flexibility, and also having the VAs working for me, they're doing the work. They're
Sure.
calling people, they're texting people, they're messaging me right now on Skype, like to ask me a question, how much can I offer? Do they want a few $1,000s more? Can you make it? You know, they're working.
That's great. So that means that you've had to put some standard operating procedures in place to make sure that each of the VAs are doing what your expectations are. How did that process work out?
Oh, it was tough in the beginning because, you know, I did not know what to do. I was like, because I'm going to be teaching them what I do.
Hmm.
How is that going to work? Can they take my job after? Um, right? I don't have one person that does I have the acquisition manager, which is her making the phone calls, offering people money. But the only person who knows the true value of a property and how much we can offer, it's me.
Sure.
So I have that step to overcome of finding someone that can come in and help me, evaluate more properties because we're talking about like huge scale. I do too many properties in a day. At least I'm looking at myself personally, 50 properties, like
That's a
50
lot. Yeah.
properties. Yeah, but the good thing with the land, Marcelo, it's just easy to do a comparable. In like 2 to 5 minutes, I know how much I can offer. I know how much the property is going to sell it for. So I have an idea. There's no foundation, there's no termite, there's nothing that I can think of besides how big it is, how close it is to the electricity, water, and at the same time, I don't have any earnest money deposit on my contract when I buy it. So I don't have risk because I could cancel, I could do an extension, I could lower the price. So I'm okay with sending tons of offers, you know. But what was your question again? Oh, to
Just
implement
setting up the
this,
standard operating procedures so that you could be able to push down and kind of duplicate yourself, because that's what it sounds like you've done. You've been able to duplicate yourself, so you're not doing the work, at least the what I would call the ministerial work, right? The administrative stuff of dialing out, getting in contact with people, getting the deal into place for you to be able to make that decision, so you can focus actually generating revenue versus doing administrative stuff.
yes, no, for sure. The first thing was get a CRM. So I got a CRM 2 years ago. I have Follow Up Boss, and in there, when I download a list of properties, they are able, the employees, the VAs are able to upload them to the system, and we can see all the information. So I can listen to the calls, I can see the text messages, I can see the emails, and I can add task. So let's say we send thousands of offers and then they call back, they're gonna answer, and I was able to make a script for them with emotional questions instead of like questions about the land itself, how big it is, utilities. I could care less. I want to know, why do you want to sell it, and would you be okay if you don't sell, and what are you going to do with the money? That's what I really want to know. And they're able to get that information, and they put it on the CRM, and they let me know, and I'm able to make offers. But in the beginning, it was hard, still hard right now sometimes because I'm always hiring people. But now I have had this girl from Miami for almost a year. I had another one. She was here in the US because I needed, the main one had to be someone from the US with perfect English, perfect skills. I pay like $17 an hour. She's in Miami. I do commission based for her. Um, so she was able to learn very quickly the system, how it works. And then I have these people from the Philippines. One of them, she does the texting. So it's all like generic stuff, kind of. And I tell her, hey, connect with the person, ask them how are they doing, and call them after. And the other one does the calls as well. So it was a little bit complicated in the beginning, but I think everything right now, I don't bug them all day. I always tell them, when you come into work, give me a heads up, good morning in the morning. When you're done, give me a goodbye. And during the day, they keep telling me, this person wants more money. What should I do with this one? You know? So I have to be here for a few hours every day. But at the same time, it's not a super hurry thing. They're not in a hurry.
Gotcha. What kind of metrics do you look at to kind of figure out if what they're doing is productive for, for what you're paying them and for what you're trying to generate each month?
Yeah, I can't see their screens, you know. I don't think I want to do something like that. But every time I send a message to them on Skype, they reply back.
I was asking more of just like kind of like what metrics do you look at in terms of determining efficiencies? Like, is the person needing to, dial a certain amount per day, or are they just responding to the mailers, or what, kind of how are you determining like, okay, this is working, this isn't working? How do you pivot to say, okay, maybe we need to change the messaging, that kind of thing?
Yeah. So they're reaching out to these sellers, and when we do like the voicemail, we get tons of calls. So they're able to answer those calls, and if they're not, they call them back. And when we do the mail as well, we get a lot of calls. When we do the texting is something that just to the initial contact, and then one of the two, they do the calls with them.
Okay.
And I don't have a metric, to be honest with you, but they are at least holding between 20 to 30 people a day on the phone because it's really hard to get a hold of people in today's
Sure.
day. So they leave a lot of voicemails, but talking to people, they're talking to at least 20 a day. And then there's texting that they do, the email, and but I don't really have a metric. No, I don't. I
Gotcha.
maybe you have something that you could share with me that I could be using.
I'm just curious. Like, I mean, if there's 5 days in a week, 20 people, right? That's 100 people a week. 4 weeks, that's 400 people. You're doing, you said 6 or 7 deals a month. So there's a percentage there that could tell
Sure.
you, this is good or bad, or helps you to figure out kind of what's working or what isn't.
Right. But only 20 people that are talking on the phone live. There's the
Hmm.
people that you leave voicemails, there's the people that you send emails, and there's the people that you text because they just don't want to talk on the phone.
Sure.
So I don't think it's really tough. When you talk to land investors, we don't really have metrics. We just send offers, and the ones that work work, the ones that don't work don't
Sure.
work.
Gotcha. Well, Luis, I really appreciate your time today. If you had to give your colleagues, people who are in this business, a word of advice, what would that be?
It's just like focusing 100% on something. It could be multifamily, it could be stocks. I don't really know, but focus. I've been reading this book. It's the 5 a.m. Club, so it's telling me
Rob
that you gotta
Sharma.
focus.
Hmm.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. But I would love to share something.
I'm a big believer in the victory hour. That's a
It's just amazing the time that I have for myself in the morning to read a book, to meditate, to
sure.
write a diary, to do breathing exercises, and everyone is sleeping. It's dark outside.
Hmm.
I'm just by myself. The solitude, I fortify my brain every morning. Every morning I'm like stronger. And I
Hmm.
used to think, Marcel, that if I would wake up so early, I would be very tired during the day, which is not the case. I'm more focused. I'm more
Yeah.
like power into my job. And usually in the morning, I call those sellers that the property, it's amazing. It's an amazing property. So I call them right away. I need to talk to them sometimes. And I
Sure.
make sure I call them to get the deal done, you know? Uh, but one thing is that I want to share with you is that I am doing my land coach 101 course. So I teach from scratch. You don't have to know anything about real estate. I can teach you just like they did with me, just like I paid so much money to learn. I'm able to do it. I'm going to be creating something on demand where people are going to be able to watch at their own time. But for now, I'm doing a one-on-one coach, and I teach people how to, first of all, dissect an area. Once you have an area that you like and is profitable, demand, inventory for sales, sold, how to reach out to these sellers. There are four ways that I use, which is email, texting, voicemail, and letters. And then once they get back to you, how to make an offer, how to do the comparables for land, how to see if there's electricity, water. Once they have an offer accepted, how to then sell that property to someone else. Because
Hmm.
80% of the time, Marcelo, I'm able to wholesale that piece of land. I don't use any of my money. 80% of the time. And
Okay.
and I want to teach people. I just got a third student right now, and he's just going forward. He signed up with the software and he showed me some areas, and I was like, first area he showed me, I was like, this is not a good area. Uh, let's focus on something else, and we found another area. He's doing about 800 voicemails, and he's gonna get the calls. And later on, how to make the comparable, how to send the offer. I also give them, Marcelo, all my agreements, my purchase agreement with the buyer, my purchase agreement with the seller, because they're different, my neutral letter, my script for when they call you, my
Hmm.
script for when texting, how do you send an email, and everything is available. So that's what I'm doing right now. Luis Land Coach is my Instagram, and I'm teaching more people, how to, because there's so much land out there, Marcelo. Every day I'm looking at my computer and I see a new area. I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta go there. I gotta go there. But I just don't have the resources right now. I
Sure.
have so many offers that I have to make. But I'm going there. Don't worry. There's a tab in here in my computer that's like future areas to go to. So
Gotcha.
I'm downloading them. I'm reaching out to all these areas, but there's just too many. I haven't done deals in like Washington, and I know it's awesome. Texas, I have done one deal in Texas, and I'm looking to do it more, but it's more time consuming because it's a non-disclosure state.
Sure.
So there's just too much land out there for me to do it myself.
Very good. Well, good luck. That's great. Got your third student, so you're well on your way to building an additional revenue stream for yourself and your family.
Yes, yes.
I'll be
And it's very
sure
nice.
that we'll be sure to add the link once we edit this and post this, so people can click on it and learn more about you and the class that you're offering.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Wonderful.
You didn't
Luis,
talk
thanks so
anything
much for
about
joining
you.
me today on No Silver Bullet. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you. Thank you, Marcelo.
Thanks.